Aloha everyone! Allow me to welcome you with all manner of greetings and pleasantries. Archangel here with some exciting news for everyone. There is a new circus in town. Red-pilled females. What? Red pill females? Yes! Woohoo! Hallelujah! Salvation is here! You see, more and more females are starting to distance themselves from feminism, and they are playing nice with their utilities, shovels, their men. Yet this increasing female interest regarding injustice suffered by males is not what it might seem, nor is this red pill wave any surprise to the already awakened. Because we are a gynocentric species, females are pampered and protected. Indeed, they are exalted in value over males. However, females, indeed, this entire gynocentric paradigm depends on male subservience. For many centuries, females played submissive, as males protected and provided for them. Then, wealth and technology began coalescing. Females, realizing they were the value-rich class, began to make demands of males, and males, being the subordinate factor in gynocentrism, had no recourse but to give and give and give more. This scenario has comprised the greater part of the last century, yet in the last few decades, the collective feminine, in their insatiable entitlement zeal, have pushed the privileged envelope far enough to draw attention to their anti-male bias, sufficient to cause more and more males to cry foul. Ladies have gone a little too far. Oopsie! However, females are not about to give up their elevated status above males, nor do they have to, as long as we are driven to reproduce, and the greater portion of reproduction rests with gestation, which rests within female biology. Still, the collective feminine wants to continue the absolute male slavery and devaluation it has cultivated. So, individual females have to make a choice regarding forward progression in the wake of increasing numbers of disgruntled males. Either a female continues the established course as a loudmouth feminist demanding more and more, or that female switches positions and pretends to have an epiphany, which causes her to go all conservative and play nice with the boys for a little while. Either scenario, however, females keep the entitlements feminism and women's suffrage has earned them over the years, and they still invoke the protection and provision that gynocentrism demands of humans that play its game. So, here we are, females that are going all traditional conservative and giving lip service to male abuse. These are the new wave of red pill females that males are falling in love with and following on social media like night follows day. Increasing numbers of females are starting to realize that males are sick and tired of female haughty, arrogant, entitled demands and temper tantrums. So some males are starting to stir from the slumber of gynocentric entrainment. Not nearly enough to upend gynocentric narratives, but enough to make the feminine collective nervous that too many males are awakening and starting to complain. Everything from MGTOW to men's rights to feminism opposing traditionalists and anti-feminists, males are starting to get vocal over the hypocritical, duplicitous, unjust malarkey that males are forced to endure. At the same time, females are worshipped and lavished with privilege and courtesy not afforded males. Fortunately, the most pure warriors of male empowerment have spelled out everything for us. Gynocentrism, hypergamy, male devaluation, and male disposability in plain English, over and over in male spaces. And this is making females furious, because for one, we are revealing the game, the tactics, the agenda, everything. And for two, how dare the burping, farting, murdering, raping, plundering pigs dare to disrespect their breasted deities by talking about them in an open and frank fashion, without female approval beforehand. Thus, in ever-increasing numbers are we out there voicing defiance, and our truths are undeniable. They resonate with males, even subconsciously with those who deny their merits and choose to remain blue or purple pill. Now, indeed, compared to planetary population, male value reclamation is small, but there is a growing wave of male discontentment that exceedingly worries the exalted class. For gynocentrism to thrive, there needs to be a protected element and the disposable element that provides the protection to the entire machine. However, certain segments of the servant class are becoming educated to gynocentric subterfuge, and they are revolting. Obviously, this is unacceptable, for this will affect female standard of living and upend traditionalist fairy tales. Not surprisingly, I have suddenly seen more and more females in the last year that now care about male mistreatment. Does that mean that we are finally making a difference? Has the revolution begun? No. I suspect that essentially some Nazis are switching identities to that of Jewish agents, meaning that gynocentric agents are simply switching costumes. They are not renouncing gynocentrism. Now, yes, to be fair, there are some females over the last decade or so that have hoisted the banner of male mistreatment. Some females have written books, others have blogged or started social media channels on the subject. More recently, there are females on YouTube preaching male inequities and female asininities. In fact, last year, a woman released a documentary called The Red Pill, where a self-proclaimed feminist goes on a mission to reveal the misogynistic underbelly of the men's rights organizations. And along the way, she supposedly has a softening of ideology, as she sees the true state of male existence juxtaposed to the rampant, inflammatory, murdering, raping, plundering patriarchy and male privilege propaganda. Upon hearing of this movie, my knee-jerk reaction was excitement, despite my suspicion. Here we have a member of the exalted class sticking up for the devalued class. Maybe this will precipitate more members of the exalted class to have a change of heart as well. But you see, right there, you give up your power to another. You place your hopes on another. Maybe an attractive female can get the world to see the male plight, whereas scores of males have failed at this task. Males still think that salvation rests in the hands of females, whereas true change rests within the ranks of the slave class. I have watched many videos, read articles, or observed interviews where a female championed men's issues, and I have to say it felt good to hear females give lip service to male mistreatment. And obviously, this is ubiquitous across the board. Males feel ecstatic as chicks mention male mistreatment or chastise other chicks. Hence, growing numbers of hurting, disenfranchised males worship, praise, and loyally follow these red pill ladies who appear to be leading the charge against male injustice and mistreatment. Yes, this is great, but do these females really care about male personhood and suffering? Or do they merely care how this growing male discontentment will affect them or their standard of living and social privilege? I will say that any help anyone gives to elucidate male mistreatment or devaluation is welcomed, even if it is from a self-interested female. If anyone proposes something that draws attention to male devaluation, if anyone says something that in any way helps to awaken a hurting male somewhere out there, then I welcome the help. And indeed, I consider men's rights advocates to be allies. Impotent, but they are trying to help. So, females that help, yes, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. However, most are not really helping because they gloss over the root problem, which is gynocentrism, and they fail to return value to males as beings independent of the utility that they provide others. These new red pill females may say, hey, let's treat guys nicer. Yet, at the end of the day, all the male allies still admit males as disposable utilities. Let's just treat them better as they labor for gynocentrism. So in light of this new wave of suddenly caring females and their purple pill butlers, there are a few things that I need to get obnoxious about. And this new rash of red pill females who have epiphanies and suddenly masquerade as male-carrying unicorns, yeah, this is top of the list. First off, with the obligatory admittance that there may be a few exceptions out there, females as a collective do do not care about male pain or suffering. They are too concerned with, and perpetually involved in, collecting provision to themselves. They only take notice of anything when male utility falters, and they only change their policy about male usury if they sense a forthcoming change or upheaval to the status quo. There is an old adage that states, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Translated here, if males actually put up with nasty, demanding, self-aggrandizing, malicious, estrogen-ripe, materialistic leeches, then let them. They deserve everything they get. So ladies, get what you can while you can. However, when males start to complain, now it's time to reevaluate situation and tactics. So, females as a collective do not care about male suffering or the inequity of treatment, but they do see males becoming more disgruntled over their mistreatment, and so they need to take a proactive stance in order to control the narrative of this awakening male anger, so that they might steer it towards the end goal that females be able to continue the exalted pampering that they are acclimated to. Females are adept at courting new paradigms in such a way as to enrich themselves. It has been well documented that indigenous female populations will acquiesce to an invading army or authority. For example, French women might be content with their local French males protecting and providing for them. Yet, when the Nazis invade, suddenly the French women are courting the German males. Then, when Germany loses, the French women go back to courting French men. It has been shown time and again that females will bow to the new paradigm or authority. Bonnie will give up Clyde in the interrogation room because the lawman is now the bigger authority, and she needs to make the best deal she can for herself within this new archetype. Now, to be fair, most humans are opportunistic. They will adapt behavior to situation. Yet females seem to be much more so, and have a talent for switching sides to benefit self. This talent is usually in the form of pushing up cleavage and feigning childlike innocence. Or, if all else fails, women just cry. So how do we get to these red pill females? Well, feminism was going great. Chicks were getting entitlements and social benefits. Then the internet happened, and guys started grouping together online, griping about situations and comparing notes with other dudes, which has given rise to situational comparison, truth spreading, and ultimately males awakening to their devaluation and disposability. You see, the red pill meme has been hijacked. Originally, it was borrowed from a brilliant movie in order to represent the awakening of males as the slave class in this reality, realizing males as devalued jesters and disposable heroes. This was the moral behind the red and blue pill analogy. Taking the red pill means to awaken to see females exalted and worshipped and males devalued and expendable. Yet now people have bastardized this analogy into some traditional conservative slogan where we take gynocentrism and individual misandristic responsibility out of the picture and blame social woes on some nebulous opposing entity. And thus taking the red pill has been hijacked to mean seeing the extravagances of the liberals or the stifling political correctness of feminists or social justice warriors. Traditionalism is trying to take over the red pill awakening analogy that males used to describe situational awareness of gynocentrism. So it is no surprise that some females talk about being red pill like it means speaking out about corporate and governmental corruption, bashing the media machine, and going to church. Yet they have not resigned their exaltation as females. They merely distance themselves from the feminist moniker as feminism is becoming more and more exposed, even compromised as the ridiculous, off-the-hinge joke that it is. And so females, worried about upcoming change that might lessen their privileges, worried about males seeing them with their hands in the feminist cookie jar, now suddenly women are starting to become red pill and acknowledge that males have been mistreated. Curious how all these female red pillars came out after Hillary was defeated. Yet, had she won, many females would have been happy to go on courting feminism. However, we got the Donald, who represents conservatism, and some chicks are like, Whoops, we might have got a little too out of control. And now, mysteriously, we have droves of females having epiphanies and taking the red pill, which has been hijacked into meaning the embracing of conservatism. Yet these chicks still have not realized or admitted themselves as exalted, and males as devalued and disposable, which is what taking the red pill really means. You see, this is simply females switching sides to effect enrichment, or at least sequester clemency from their feminist war crimes. Oh, females courted feminism when it was the cool new authority on the block, and for all intents and purposes, it still is socially. Yet some females are trying to predict the future. They are looking down the road and trying to see if these disgruntled males preaching gynocentrism will have any impact on them. And if so, they need to switch lanes and align themselves with males so they will not be burned if feminism flounders. Feminism and traditionalism currently grapple, as they have for decade after decade, and folks are trying to align themselves with the ideology they hypothesize will ultimately win. But this is all sideshow spectacle, because taking the red pill means understanding both paradigms as male abusive. It's nothing for a female to say she is for men's rights, and then say she is a feminist when she becomes bored with dudes, or a social shift in power tips control back towards feminism. Either way, she is supported by a safety net, because she has a uterus and mammary glands. So, little princess can dabble in one ideology for a while, and then switch back to another whenever it tickles her fancy, with no appreciable loss of exaltation. Bottom line, she will still get the last parachute over any male, whether she is a feminist or a conservative. Be not fooled. Females, as a collective, are not concerned with male suffering, exceptions notwithstanding. Because on some subconscious level, all females believe some degree of the murdering, raping, plundering, patriarchy, male privilege propaganda, and most take some degree of satisfaction in male suffering as penance for supposed oppression by the tyrannical phallus regime. Furthermore, an increasing many females view a little male suffering as requisite for the simple fact that if males suffer, then a single female at a time can swoop in and pretend to care, thus being a hero in male eyes, which will enrich her with a loyal subject. The inevitable conclusion is that females pretending to care about male welfare, they really don't. They care about how male awakening will affect them. Now, many will say, come on, man, what is wrong with you? These females are trying to help the male plight. Why would you attack allies? Again, I appreciate any help, even from those still feeding the vaginisty. I simply question female motives. Males cannot discover themselves nor their greatness with females anywhere around exerting their influence, causing males to tone down or dismiss their feelings and police their own and other males' behavior. Males must be free of female influence, wiles, temptations, and enticements. If females are anywhere around, males will be compelled to white knight and defer to her. Okay, so why would females speak on behalf of males at all? Self-enrichment. Besides switching sides to avoid their feminist war crimes, or to play conservative submissive to convince males to come back and take care of them with the chivalry that they miss, yet simultaneously retaining all the equality and female-favoring legislation that feminism has sequestered for them over the years. Besides all of that, females experience insane amounts of attention and angelic praise from abused males when they simply say a couple nice things about guys, or mention a couple male abuses. Oh, guys just gobble up this female lip service. Mistreated males literally worship the females that speak up about male mistreatment in books or YouTube channels. But it is not because most of these females care about males being hit by their girlfriends, or living in cardboard boxes, or killing themselves this very second, but rather they get attention, and they make money from sales or views. So some females get a loyal following. Others con males back into playing house and bringing chivalry with them. However, all get attention and enrichment in some way, and they get to play the altruistic hero all the while. Speaking for males enriches females somehow. And really, when playing the media game of popularity, people will jump on any bandwagon they can to get noticed. Thus, most people do not care what they have to parrot in order to get views. If preaching about squirrel dandruff would get females popularity and wealth, then they absolutely would put on 20 layers of makeup, push their cleavage to their shoulders, and pontificate about squirrel scalp flakes. They will jump on any bandwagon, any trend, anything to get noticed. So it's not that chicks care about males abused in family court or dying on the battlefield, but rather females see the ripe opportunity to gain popularity, get ego stroking, a loyal following, as well as make money, all in one fell swoop. There is your motivation for female concern. Also, by addressing male issues, females uphold their exalted status as angels. These caring red pill unicorns uphold the accolades their sex is lavished with when they pay lip service to male mistreatment. Again, they not only earn praise, receive positive attention, as well as incite a loyal following of white knights and make money, they also further make themselves appear to be the very angels that a gynocentrically entrained society has always accused females of being. So, wait. Hold up. A girl would receive all of these perks, plus the get out of jail free card for being a former or secret feminist, and they retain exaltation as well as convince people they are the fabled unicorn compared to their sisters that are still preaching man-hating in the overtly feminist society. And all of this just for saying a couple of sympathetic things about dudes? Woohoo! Yeah! Exceptions aside, females that speak ill of feminism through videos or documentaries or blogs or books, most are not reformed gynocentrists or unicorns. They have agendas of enrichment that involve self. Some females are simply experimenting with a costume change from entitled feminist to caring human as they attempt to harness a new paradigm. If this new model of speaking out for male mistreatment begins to lose steam or becomes boring, these females will absolutely go back to courting feminism. But right now, the air is uncertain, and some females are rolling the dice and deciding to court angry males, while other females are holding fast to feminism, betting that it will be upheld as the reigning paradigm a year, 2, 10, 20 down the road. Many of these red pill females are enjoying the small distraction from daily monotony that men's issues are to them, as well as the venomous controversy it spawns amongst their sister population, and they like being seen as the hero. Yet, when they get bored or need to again resume their own provision extraction from their environment, they will quit addressing abusive males as abruptly as they took up this mantle. The feminine collective only has interest in male issues to the extent that it will affect them, so they need to insert themselves into the discussion that males are having as a way to keep tabs on the state of male discontentment, and as a way to interject and co-opt the discussion back around to continuing to lavish women with equality and chivalry. Just like females interject themselves into male sports watching, or video games, or comic book conventions, they do so to keep tabs on males. They could give a crap less about male sports, or video games, or comic books, but they need to insinuate themselves in male spaces to keep males tame, and to monitor the general atmosphere. Females know that their mere presence will cause males to police their language and behaviors. Just a female being in the presence of any male gathering will cause males unease and oblige them to compete and essentially white knight for the fragile innocent bunny in their midst. Females, as a collective, want to keep males neutered, and they want to lead the narrative of male spaces. So you get these anti-Barbie girls in nerd glasses going around to guy hangouts, playing video games and watching football with the guys. And they will say, yeah, there are a lot of gold diggers out there. Or, I'm so sorry you are mistreated. Or, there's a lot of women that are bitches. But, and there is always a but, we need to continue the protecting and providing of women for society. Yep, that is the agenda. Stroke the mistreated ego of males with a few, "aw, you poor things," yet bring the narrative back around to protecting and providing for women. And with females present at guys' Dungeons and Dragons night, males are much more likely to bow to gynocentrism. And if one or two males are unruly or resistant, then a female might stir the compliant males against the non-compliant males. Females and the collective that they are part of do not care about dudes or their suffering. They want to control you because your walking away will absolutely affect their standard of living. Understand this: the very fact that females are talking about male issues or acknowledging male devaluation in any form demonstrates their exalted status. You see, if you are on shaky, unstable ground, you are in no position to lend assistance to another on shaky, unstable ground. If the ice is cracking beneath your feet, you are in no position to offer assistance to another who's also standing on thin, cracking ice as well. Meaning, if females are so mistreated, so maligned, so oppressed, so beaten and abused, so victimized, then they have not the energy, nor influence, nor concern to address male issues. They are fully consumed just trying to get through the day alive with the least possible amount of raping, murdering, and plundering of their person by man-apes. If females are beaten and oppressed, as the propaganda states, then they are essentially treading water in sub-zero temperatures, with no way to offer assistance or caring or concern to abused beings standing on cracking thin ice. However, if females are on solid ground with a safety rope tied around their waist, then they are in a position to offer help or sympathy to others if they choose to. If females are the protected class, if they are the exalted and worshipped class, if they have the protection of white knights and society, if they have the preferential backing of government and legislation, if females are untouchable from reciprocity, if their place in the world is solid, assured, and protected, then they can speak out about a couple male mistreatments or chastise a few rowdy feminists because their personal survival is assured. Because females remain untouchable, they can play male rights savior for a while, get some attention, ego stroking, and monetary enrichment, then move on to something else when they become bored. Males, understand this: females are still sitting in thrones with silk canopies carried aloft by male slaves through the scorching desert. So it is nothing for a female to halt her procession, have her male drones lower her throne to ground level so she may entertain the woes of some random male peasant along the roadside who has been abused by other throned females who have passed this way. She may express sympathies or offer words of encouragement to this broken, abused peasant. Yet, at some point, when she is bored or simply done mingling with peasantry, the dozen male attendants will again hoist the queen and her throne up on top of their shoulders, and she will continue on down the road of life. This is females. They are ultimately protected by a social network of government, legislation, and white knights, so they can take a minor foray into playing the Good Samaritan as a way to further their own interests of superiority through equality and chivalry. And if they become bored or change their minds, they simply fall back into their safety net of elevation and superior life worth. There is negligible risk to females because man-shovels come along behind them and clean up little princesses' messes. Whereas males that stick their necks out for others, they have no safety net. They sink or swim, and they have the potential to lose everything: family, friends, jobs, social acceptance, reputation, respect, even their very lives, when they stick up for others. The very fact that females speak about male issues demonstrates their position as superior to males, because if a male speaks out against male mistreatment, he's brushed aside and laughed off. He's biased as a male. He's jaded. He's been hurt. He's gay. Blah, blah, you know the drill. However, if a female speaks up, everybody pays attention, because here is a member of the exalted class speaking on behalf of the slave class. That is why females speaking up for men has so much weight, because a member of the board of directors is speaking up for a member of the janitorial staff. Females are in charge. Females are exalted. Females are worshipped. Females are held aloft on pillars of caring, benevolence, and altruism. Females are coddled, pampered, and protected with male lives. Females are worth more than males, and this superiority is why females have more influence when speaking about male issues than males themselves. Oh, wow! A goddess is showing compassion towards the demon spawn. Golly, they are such angels. And this causes even more awe and wonder and adoration towards the goddesses. So, females speaking for males is win-win-win for females, no matter how you look at it. Fellas, you are not cared about beyond your utility providership, and this is no exception. Many females will act enlightened, so long as their exaltation remains intact, and this includes responsibility exemption. If a male does wrong, we call him out on it. If a female does wrong, the enlightened female will say, "Oh, we should not point fingers, but rather we should all take responsibility for the situation we find ourselves in." Yeah. You catch that? Male wrongdoing is his responsibility. Female wrongdoing is everybody's responsibility. Let's all take equal blame for our situation. Eventually, you will find that red pill females merely offer the same old man up, protect and provide rhetoric the rest of the world proffers. Only they do this under the guise of an ally. To anyone that elucidates male devaluation or disposability in any way, thank you for your assistance. However, if you think red pill females represent an end to your unicorn hunt, well, you might want to continue your unicorn safari elsewhere. My friends, stand with me, live free.